The late 1960s in Northern California, a time of peace, love, and flower power. But a dark shadow was creeping over the San Francisco Bay Area. A shadow that would instill terror and create a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer. Our story begins on December 20th, 1968, on a secluded lover's lane in Benito. High school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were on their first date. Tragically, it would be their last. A mysterious car pulled up, and a man emerged, shooting David in the head and Betty Lou 5 times in the back as she tried to flee. There were no witnesses, no motive, and no suspects. The police were baffled. For months, the case went cold. Then, on July 4th, 1969, another attack. Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau were parked at Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo, just a few miles from the first crime scene. A car approached, its headlights blinding them. A man walked up to the driver's side window and opened fire without a word. Darlene was killed instantly. Miraculously, Michael survived, despite being shot in the face, neck, and chest. But this time, the killer did something different. Less than an hour after the attack, a man called the Vallejo Police Department. He spoke in a calm, rehearsed voice, taking credit for the shooting and, shockingly, for the murders of Jensen and Faraday the previous year. He provided details only the killer could know. The Reign of Terror had a name. On August 1st, 1969, 3 major newspapers, the Vallejo Team, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner each, received a letter. The handwriting was messy, almost childlike, and filled with spelling errors. The author claimed responsibility for the recent attacks and included a bizarre 3-part crypt. He demanded the papers publish his cipher on their front pages, threatening more violence if they didn't comply. He signed off with a strange symbol, a circle with a cross through it. This was the birth of the Zodiac's infamous signature. The ciphers were a direct challenge to the public and law enforcement. The killer was taunting them, playing a twisted game. Just 1 week later, a high school teacher and his wife, Donald and Betty Harden, cracked the 408-symbol cipher. The message was chilling. It was a rambling, misspelled confession where the killer explained his motive. "I like killing people because it is so much fun, ... It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest, because man is the most kangaroo animal of all." He also mentioned collecting slaves for the afterlife. The message didn't reveal his name, but it gave a terrifying glimpse into his warped mind. The Zodiac wasn't finished. On September 27th, 1969, he struck again, this time in broad daylight at Lake Burrito. College students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were relaxing by the shore when a man approached them. He was wearing an executioner-style hood with a bib on his chest decorated with the cross-circle symbol. He claimed to be an escaped convict and tied them up before brutally stabbing them both. He then walked to Brian's car and drew his symbol on the door, along with the dates of his previous attacks. He called the police afterward to report a double murder. Cecilia Shepard died from her injuries 2 days later. Incredibly, Brian Hartnell survived, providing a crucial description of the attacker's voice and costume. Just 2 weeks later, on October 11th, the Zodiac claimed his final confirmed victim. San Francisco cab driver Paul Stein was shot in the back of the head at point-blank range in the wealthy Presidio Heights neighborhood. This time, there were witnesses. Teenagers across the street saw the killer wiping down the cab and taking a piece of Stein's bloody shirt. They called the police, who arrived moments later. In a now infamous blunder, the police dispatcher mistakenly reported the suspect as a black man. When officers passed a white man walking away from the scene, they let him go without question. It was likely the Zodiac, slipping through their fingers. Days later, the San Francisco Chronicle received another letter. This one contained a piece of Paul Stein's blood-soaked shirt as proof. The Zodiac was mocking the police, describing how he walked right past them. He ended the letter with a new threat, this time aimed at school children. He wrote, "School children are nice targets. I think I shall wipe out a school bus some morning." This threat sent a wave of panic across the Bay Area. Police escorted school buses, and parents lived in fear. The Zodiac had elevated himself from a killer to a citywide bogeyman. He continued to send letters and cards for years, filled with more taunts, ciphers, and bomb diagrams. One of the most famous was the "My name is ... double," cipher which he claimed would reveal his identity. To this day, it has never been solved. The investigation was massive. Thousands of suspects were considered. The most famous was Arthur Lee Allen, a former schoolteacher with a troubled past. Police found circumstantial evidence linking him to the crimes. He owned a Zodiac brand watch, used the same brand of ammunition, and allegedly confessed to friends. However, his handwriting and DNA didn't match the samples from the letters, and he passed a polygraph test. Despite being the prime suspect for decades, he was never charged and died in 1992. After 1974, the letters stopped. The Zodiac killer simply vanished. Did he die? Was he imprisoned for other crimes, or did he simply stop, content with the chaos he had created? The mystery has captivated amateur sleuths and professional investigators for over 50 years. In 2020, a team of codebreakers managed to crack the 340 cipher, another one of his complex puzzles sent in 1969. The message read, "In part, I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me." Again, no name. Just more of the same disturbing ideology. The Zodiac killer case is a chilling reminder of how a single individual can hold a city captive through fear and manipulation. He wasn't just a murderer, he was a media mastermind, using letters and ciphers to build his own terrifying legend. He killed at least 5 people, but the true number may never be known. He played a game with the police, the press, and the public. A game where he made all the rules. And in the end, it seems he won. His identity remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history, a ghost that still haunts the San Francisco Bay Area. What do you think happened to the Zodiac? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you're interested in more true crime mysteries, be sure to subscribe.